Welcome to an episode on the Business Growth Club. So excited to have you here with a guest, Sharon Hadley. And we are going to talk about team building today, setting up, getting associates on board, and delegating for your business, which actually at this moment in time is a big thing I'm doing, big and scary. And I've got an expert on this, and I've got an amazing VA who's going to talk to us about this. So, Sharon, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Sharon Hadley, and what shall I tell you about me? I help organize the chaos in your life and do all those sort of boring techie admin jobs you don't like doing to give you back more time to do more of what you love. And an interesting fact is if you book me for 10 hours every month, that gives you 3 weeks of your time back a year.
Wow.
Yeah, when I worked it out, I was like, whoa. So it's just thinking, about if there's stuff that you really don't like doing or that you haven't got the right tech skills to do, um, absolutely think about bringing a VA on board. The other big thing to say about me, I think, is when I'm not being a VA, I'm a bit of a crystal nerd, and I spend lots of times doing things with crystal, using them for self-care and all the rest of it. So it's actually really nice having those two different sides, like the tech and the admin, and then the sort of more creative self-care, softer stuff with the crystals.
Amazing. And I love that you've now got two businesses running side by side, doing absolutely amazing. So Sharon used to be a client of mine and now she's my team member. And it's just amazing because she knows me inside and out. And I feel that's a really important thing when you hire someone is that they understand your business, they understand you. Do you feel that's important as well when you are outsourcing, start building a team?
Definitely. And it was something that I actually personally agonized over myself because, my business took off really quickly. And it was quite early on that I was like, oh, I need to start outsourcing stuff. And I really, really struggled. I sent out, you know, Google Forms and got people to apply and all the rest of it. And it was just like, when it all came back, it was like, no, these people don't get me.
Yeah.
Um, or things like I said, I particularly want somebody that's good at copywriting. And people would come back and say, oh, I don't do copywriting. Um,
Yeah,
so I actually ended up, my first associate is actually a family member, but because she knows me and she knows how my brain works, um, she knows what questions to ask, or if she doesn't understand something, she knows how to sort of pitch it. So I'm like, oh, that's what she means. Yeah, that's how I'll explain it to her. So yeah, I think definitely when you're outsourcing, if it's somebody and from my point of view, not just outsourcing outsourcing my stuff to a team, but actually taking on stuff as a VA.
yeah.
All my clients have either been somebody that I already had a relationship with, or they were recommended by somebody that I had a relationship with. So there was that sort of know, like, and trust factor was already there.
Definitely. And that's how I guess I came to be one of your clients. And just talking a bit about my journey in hiring and outsourcing, it's something I knew I wanted to do eventually because I used to be like, nope, can't do it. I can't do it. I used to be so afraid of it that I let that fear of it holding me back. I guess because I'm a self-confessed control freak, but and I'm just so organized with things that I needed people to understand my way of working. And what happened was I realized really quickly when I was running two businesses that it wasn't possible to do it all myself without burning out, which when obviously I realized, okay, I need to outsource. But I took on a VA that I was recommended, but I didn't know very well. And unfortunately, she completely messed up the task at hand that got me banned from some Facebook groups because she spammed everywhere, got the task totally wrong. And that has happened a few times, and it is all about communication. But the communication wasn't there because we didn't know each other. And then I was like, "Oh, this isn't working." I struggled to keep up with the expense of having the VA. So then I moved on, carried on my business, accepted it wasn't my time. And then I was ready again. I had the money and I thought, right, I'm going to give it a go. But then the second time round, the VA that I hired, it worked. When we do this, we're supposed to do it so that we release time, aren't we? So that it saves us time, which in the long run saves us money because what I can outsource in an hour of time, I could spend an hour doing something that could make me more money. And that's the exchange that I wanted to have. And that wasn't what I was getting. Unfortunately, it probably took I think the task that I sent her it was one task and it took 8 hours. And I just sat and thought, well, no, why is it taking this long? Because I could have just done that in an hour myself. So then I ended up, unfortunately, I don't like saying this, but sacking her. And I was like, oh, and it was really frustrating. And then I did come across someone else, but then I pivoted my business, which meant there was a lot of income lost. And I've talked about this openly, so I don't mind sharing it. But because of the income lost, I then couldn't outsource again. And so I was back at square one. But then Sharon decided to become a VA, didn't you? It
Yeah.
was just the wrong timing, and I did get funding for my business to do this, and I was like, right, okay, Sharon's the perfect person. So I went straight to you, didn't I? And we got started, we got the ball rolling, and you've been my VA. Oh, how long now? It's been since, is
Probably
it?
since about September.
Yeah, I think I got my funding in June. So by the time we got set up and sorted, I think it was, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been a good few months now. And I love it because the relationship we have, like, you know how my business works, you know about me, and it's like magic when you go and do the work. Like I tell my husband, I tell everyone how amazing you are at what you do. It's to the point I'm recommending you all the time. And you have got a few clients, haven't you, from recommendation from me, I hope?
Yes, yes. Some of
Really?
them are still not quite there, but yep, there have been a couple. So, and that's what's great as well, is if you know people, you feel comfortable recommending them.
Yeah, you do. And I always shout out people that I think have an amazing service because I think that word of mouth is brilliant. Um, so obviously that was my journey with outsourcing. When do you think, as a business owner, we are at a point where we need to outsource?
I would say when you are finding that you are spending more time on the things that you don't really like about your business, or in terms of, I work mainly with people like coaches, designers, that kind of thing. So when you're getting to the stage that you are having to turn away paying clients to
Yeah.
do stuff, that
Mm.
is when it's the right time to start thinking about outsourcing stuff.
Well, I'm outsourcing at the right time then because I've just got fully booked for one-to-ones. I sold out my program and I've only got like one way to work with me at the moment, but I'm happy that I've got a team behind me so that I can work on changing that. So like you get to that point, you're feeling quite burned out, you can't take on more clients, you want to increase your income, so you're like, right, I need to outsource. How would you say is the best way to actually get started with outsourcing for your business?
Well, I've written a book on this.
Well, I was going to bring that up, but yeah, you have.
So what I found from my own most of my ideal clients are people that generally are having their first VA. They don't
Yeah.
really know what they're doing. I'd heard about Dani's experiences. So that's why I decided to sit down and actually write a book. So to say, start thinking about, right, what jobs do you want to get rid of?
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I do in here, is I take you through step by step what I have to go through almost with new clients, thinking about, okay, telling them why they might want to, um, outsource to a VA. But the other thing that I do, is throughout my book, I've got these pages for journaling on, because I
Yeah,
personally found, actually, you know, my business is my baby that I've grown myself. So actually delegating bits of it to somebody else was really quite hard to do at times.
yeah,
So that's why I've sort of included the, you know, think about, write a list of things that you would want to outsource, write a list of things that you could outsource, and then actually sit and journal on it and how you feel about it and all the rest of it. And also journaling through those feelings about, well, what do you feel like about giving your baby or part of your baby to somebody else to look after?
yeah. I loved that in your book because I've read it all already. I read it the day it came. I was out when it arrived. So the day it was the day after. So I was at a friend's and I came home and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Sharon's book. My daughter had opened it and they saw it was a book and then they weren't interested, especially when it's a business one. So the kids flung it to the side and I picked it up the next day. Just got out of the shower and I sat in my bed and read it in one go. Didn't do the journaling though, because as you know, I've already outsourced and built my team. But I did love the fact that you included kind of these spaces and the journal prompts because when I was outsourcing, that I needed to do that stuff and I couldn't quite understand how to do that, like brain dump, what's frustrating me about the tasks that I need to outsource and how I'm feeling about it and where to start. And it was only when I did that actually that I could look at, right, this is what I want. So like a real good example for me is one of the most time consuming things is content because I do a lot of it. I've got the podcast, I do social media, and I've got Facebook, Instagram. I use a lot on there, groups page, all of it. I go live, I have my email list, YouTube, blogs coming back. So there's a lot of content. So to do all of that, it is time consuming. But I love writing my own content. So my copywriter does like the website, the email sequences and stuff like that. But like the day-to-day content I love doing. So I knew I didn't want to outsource that, but I'm thinking, how can I make this easier? So it was the scheduling. So I was like, oh, okay, how can I do that? And until I brain dumped like that one part, like the scheduling, I didn't realize how I could actually pass that over. So by just brain dumping that and mapping out what I was going to outsource, I then was able to, well, as you know, Sharon, because you see the back end systems in my business, um, I was then able to hand it over to you because I created a system that meant you could get access eyes inside the business to then do that job that I needed you to do. And it's such a relief, literally seeing things happen without you doing it in the business. So I love that. And I think have that book been available as even 3 years ago, like even though I wasn't ready, that would have given me the starting point that I needed. So I'm so glad that that book exists for the future entrepreneurs that are building and scaling their businesses so they can outsource in a way that works for them. Why do you think we should outsource as a business owner? Why do you think it's important to start outsourcing?
I mean, there's lots of things that you can talk about, like, you know, making sure you've got a good work-life balance, and you're not spending too much time on your business. But that is actually different for all of us. And I think you and I have had this conversation way back when, that actually, Sharon, if you are happy sat on your phone at 9 o'clock at night, scheduling posts or doing business work, that is absolutely fine, as long as you are getting enough sleep, time away from it, and all the
Mm.
rest of it. So I think it's important to think about, you know, what you want out of it. Do you want more time? Also, sometimes there's tasks that you can do that you just absolutely hate.
There is. And I think from knowing what you're good at as well, I think sometimes by outsourcing to someone, you're getting it done properly or you're getting the expert because I know there's loads of VAs out there, but certain VAs work on certain aspects. So I referred someone to you recently, and I know that there's a platform she uses that you don't, and you turned her away, and I love that. And I've turned clients away because it just doesn't work. And some people think, well, you're refusing money, you're leaving it on the table. Yes, but I would rather take on the work that I should be doing. Do you know what I mean? And basically, with with that, it's like we hire certain people for certain jobs, don't we? So for example, I've got you, Sharon, because I know you know, well, one of the email marketing platforms I use for the Creative Business Academy is MailerLite. So actually I should outsource that in future. But when I do outsource that, basically, I know that you know that really, really well. And I also know that you know the platforms that I use because you use them yourself, you've experienced in it. Whereas it might be sometimes you want to get people doing social media, but they're not. So I don't know if you've ever worked with someone and they're not the expert in it, or they don't know what, it sounds awful, but they don't know what they're doing basically. So like with me and my team, I've gone for people that I know I can trust and can give them the responsibility of the job they're doing. So for you, you've got multiple tasks. You're the only one that's got multiple tasks. And then I've got my tech website manager. I don't know what to call her, but she knows the back end of the system that I use. So I've hired her for that. And then I've got my copywriter because she's experienced in it and she's an expert in that one thing. So I think sometimes handing over the reins to someone, it actually is going to get the job done better than when we've done it. And that is something that I did say when we first started out. Do you remember when you set up a spreadsheet and I was like, oh my God, that is better than the one I would have done. So I was so grateful that you took that on board because it was a big job to start with, but you did it better than I envisioned. So it just shows that that can be the result that you get from getting someone to do it.
Yeah, and it's also, and it can be quite a fine line, but it's also about at the end of the day, when you are doing work for a client, I know you, I know how you like things done.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say to you, Dani, what about let's doing this? But I've also learnt that if you turn around and say, no, I don't want to do that, it's not personal.
Yeah, I
Because at
love
the
that.
end of the day, it's your business, it's how you want things to be done. And again, that was something, quite hard. Why don't they want to listen to me? And, recognizing that, no, that's not what I'm there for.
Yeah, very true. Let's circle back to your book. So it's now available, isn't it?
It is, it's on Amazon. As Dani said, it's actually quite a quick read. I see it as one of those things that you'll sort of pick up and come back to
Yeah.
because of the journaling. And also in the back I've put a couple of tips and tricks of things that if clients were handing specific tasks over to me, what I would be asking them for.
Yeah.
um I mean, there's a lot of very good VAs out there. There's also, shall we say, some not as good ones because unfortunately it is an unregulated industry.
Yes, and I think it's important, isn't it, to make sure you've got someone that does know what they're doing. I think you know more about this than me. When we are looking to hire someone that does know what they're doing, what is it that we need to look for?
So it's things like asking them, coming up with your list and saying, can you do this? And asking them for examples of what they've done. Um, or, saying, well, who do you work with? And, I can answer that whilst maintaining confidentiality.
Yeah.
So I can say sort of at the moment, so I work with a coach, a website designer, and then I've got my neurodiverse clients, which again are a mixture of sort of coaches and people doing different things. Um, but they're the experts in what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that because it's definitely ensuring that they can show you that they can help you. And I think as someone who is outsourcing as the business owner, it's our responsibility to ask those questions because I definitely didn't do that before. And the one thing, I mean, I already knew that I was gonna work with you, but we still did it anyway. The one thing that you offer is that initial chat session, don't you, to ensure that it's right for the business owner. So if we were going to have a chat with you about it, what would that look like and how can we chat to you?
So, on my website and all over social media, the links that you will come across virtually everywhere is a book a call. And what that does is that takes you into my calendar and you can book a 15-minute call with me on Calendly. Yes, often I do go over that, and that just actually gives us the opportunity to chat, get a feel of what the client wants doing, and also to actually check that, we aren't going to rub one another up the wrong way or something, and there is that right energy between us. Fairly early on, I remember turning down my first client, well, my first potential client. And it was so, so scary because, new business, I needed the money coming in.
Yeah.
But I just, on the discovery call, she was trying to push back on price. And I was, no, this is what I do for that price. And she was already trying to sort of scope creep. And I just thought, you know what, I can't work with this person. So,
Yeah.
emailed her a couple of days later and said, really sorry, I just don't think I'm the right VA for you. Um, so yeah, it's also, again, not taking it personally if you try and outsource something and somebody says they're not the right person for you, because actually I would respect that person more,
I
than
would, yeah.
the one
I've
that just
had that.
takes on everything.
I've had that from someone. I wanted to work with a mentor, and she said no. And I've also had that on the other side where I'm the coach and I've been asked to book the initial free call. We couldn't even get that in a clarity call because she wanted my help, and the things that she wanted help with, I absolutely could have helped her with. But it was the timings. She had a 9 to 5 job, and unfortunately, I work 9 to 3. And so I just I couldn't commit to that.
Yeah,
So I, like you said, I had to say, unfortunately, we're just not the right fit because it doesn't suit my hours, and basically my boundaries are really important. And you know what? She had the most amazing response. She was like, I totally get it. Family time's important. Thank you so much for being honest. And I really pride myself on honesty in what I do. So I think it's really important to notice that.
yeah.
So if we want your help, what are the things that you can help us with in our business? I know you do like email marketing stuff. I know you do scheduling. I know you do. For those who don't know, daily method of creation is like your income producing activities. So it could be like engagement and things like that, which Sharon does for me. She schedules my podcasts, don't you? So now you know what
Yeah.
happens behind the scenes, who's doing the work. So she schedules that sort of stuff, and then some ad hoc stuff for
And
me. But
that
what,
was actually when I started taking my team on, that was one of the things that was important to me, particularly with some of my clients, is even though my work, it'll never all be given to somebody else.
yeah.
I actually cherry pick tasks, and I will actually say to you, are you okay if I give that to my associate? Because actually she's better at that bit than I am.
Yeah, you said that to me last week.
And she is. Have you seen what she's done with your DMO? I'm like,
I have, and I'm impressed.
so I do things like engaging, dropping stuffs into the network groups, scheduling social media. We can write social media if you don't have your own copyright. Something else that we do quite a lot of for people is helping people repurpose their content. So if you've got a blog, send that to us and we can turn it into, on average, 3 to 4 social media posts that you can then sort of spread through. MailerLite, I'm not saying I'd never touch any other email marketing service, but MailerLite is my favorite. So I can do the automations, I can do newsletters, I can do most of the setup. I've had a couple of clients I've been doing the migration to the new version on. Some of the sort of more techie stuff that you perhaps don't see so much of is I've got some quite big clients that have got sort of big databases of people. So I do things in things like HubSpot and Flowdesk, and I did have a play with Dubsado, but wasn't quite me. So those big sort of CRMs, customer relationship management databases, which is why I'm sure I could do yours.
Yeah, you're
Um,
amazing. Oh,
and also I do some website stuff, but again, I am very boundaried about what I do. So I will upload your blog. I will go and swap a photo out or tweak some text for you, but I'm not a website designer. I'm not a website developer. So I'm only ever going to tinker around the edges.
mm,
However, I do know somebody that I can pass you on to do it.
yeah, you do.
And the other thing is, and I know this is podcast, but I think you'll put it on YouTube as well. My little mini me.
Yes, I love
Um,
your mini.
Again, I work with somebody that basically I'm an affiliate for her. If people need but that's mainly what she does, but she does do a lot of other stuff. I'm not a graphic designer. If it's more than a quick social media post on Canva, then again, I've got somebody that I can outsource that to. She's not she's not strictly a member of my team. She's more of an affiliate. I'm more of an affiliate
Yeah,
for her. But what I've tried to do is bring in people that have got the skills that I'm not so good at. So I'm more about the systems and the processes. So if I want some creative stuff done, I'll go and talk to Amy. If it's day-to-day stuff and copywriting, I go and talk to Jasmine. I mean,
yeah.
she's writing a book. Her copywriting's bound to be better than mine.
I love that though. I love that you've got your own little toolkit of stuff that you can do, and then people that you can pinpoint and direct people to if they need it. And
Yeah,
that's so important. It's so important to lean into your strengths and outsource and pass on your weaknesses. It's very
yeah.
important. Which is what I've done with, well, I feel I'm good at content, but copywriting in particular I've outsourced because of that, and I just want to save time. Oh, thank you so much, Sharon, for coming and talking to us about this. If we want to connect with you, we can go to your website, we can book a call, we can buy your book, which is available on Amazon, Your First for Year. Definitely
Yes.
give it a read if you're thinking about outsourcing, but how else can we connect with you?
So I'm really easy to find online. My socials are Sharon Hadley, or my business socials and my website and LinkedIn as well is either Sharon Hadley or Sharon Hadley VA. Even my website is Sharon Hadley VA.
Nice and easy, keeping it super simple. And then the final
Absolutely.
question that I ask all my podcast guests. Oh, and I was going to say, when you said put it on YouTube as well, don't you mean you will? Because that's your job. That's what you
I
do.
will, yes.
You're the one that does the podcast and scheduling. The final question is, what would be your best tip to be organized in your business?
You're going to laugh at this one. I know you are. Schedule your social media.
It's true. Well, it helps. It helps. Or if you can't schedule it yourself, get
Give it
someone
to
else to do
somebody
it.
that can. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much, Sharon.
Thank you for having me.